Becky. Welcome back to my channel. I have another homeschooling video for you guys today. If you don't already know, I have a 15-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old daughter. My 15-year-old obviously is in high school and she just finished up her freshman year of high school, homeschool high school, this school year. So the freshman year I knew was going to be one that was probably our easiest because I really didn't have to pick anything for her that was getting her ready for the future. Really, I was focused on just general requirements and things that she needed for high school to be able to graduate. But now that she's going to be a sophomore in the fall and going forward, I've really had to be more, a lot more into the planning phases of like, what is she going to have to graduate high school, but then also what is going to set her up for success for whatever career path, major degree that she decides to pursue. Today, I actually have 10 tips, 10 suggestions, and things to think about when it comes to helping your child pick what they want to be and what they want to go to college for, what they want their career to be in. These are all things that we are currently thinking about, working through, considering. Now she has decided what she does want to go to college for, but I realize that she's just going to be a sophomore in the fall, so things could change, but this is something that she said she wanted to be pretty much for the last 5 years or so. So I really don't know that it will change. I don't think it will change, but I'm trying to make these smart choices that are going to benefit her now in high school and then set her up for the right path for college. So 10 things to really think about to help your child, because sometimes they don't know what they want to be. They don't really know if, I mean, they're teenagers, you know, sometimes they can't see past tomorrow. So to sit there and think about like, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? What do I want to go to school for and spend, 2, 4, 8 years or longer studying is really a big decision. And it can be really hard. So whether you are a parent and you're trying to help guide your child through this process, even if you don't homeschool, I think these things will be helpful to you. And maybe you're a teenager yourself and you are actually trying to figure out, like, how do I decide what I want to have as a career? How do I decide what I want to go to college for? I think these 10 tips will really help you to sit down and figure that out. So the first one is, what do your kids enjoy? What are they good at? What are their natural passions? Are they naturally, do they want to volunteer? Are they really in love with animals and they are always wanting to be with animals and train animals and help animals? What are those things that they really, really love and are passionate about and have natural talent with? For my daughter, my oldest daughter in particular, she is very, very artistic. She has always been really good at art. She has drawn for years and years and years. Even when she was in elementary school, she would come home from public school at the time. She would sit down and pause the TV and then draw what was on the TV. So like she's always been really into that. So she has pretty much always known and said that she wants to do something with art. Obviously that's kind of a broad thing. It could be many different things and we have narrowed it down for her. But we know that art is one of her natural talents and something that she enjoys doing on a daily basis. So exposing your kids to as many different types of activities and classes and clubs and things that they can, so they can either find out what they really love if they don't already know, and find some things maybe they don't love, things they really thought they may like doing but they really don't. Exposing them to different types of activities and paying attention to their natural talents is really going to help you to kind of hone in on things that that may turn out to be a good career path. Another way to help your child decide what they want to go to college for is to look at the local colleges and universities in your area and see what degree programs they offer. Sometimes you don't even know that a certain job category exists until you see it. Looking at the websites of different colleges and universities is really going to help you to see kind of what's out there and how those degree programs are broken down and even possible career paths. That's one thing I noticed that was really helpful, that a lot of the websites will say, like, if you are this major, here are some jobs that are relevant to your major. So like graphic design, video games, things like that. Also, watching YouTube videos. There are tons of people that vlog what they do at work or sharing their experiences with different jobs. So you can watch like the day in the life of a vet tech or a nurse or a dental hygienist or a teacher, all different types of videos out there. And I feel like that's a really good way to get an idea of what it's really like, because a lot of times those people don't sugarcoat it. Like, it's not going to be this, nursing brochure you're going to get at the school or the college where it's like these happy people and they're all laughing. It's going to be a lot more of the day-to-day, kind of the dirtier jobs, the bad days, the good days. So a lot more of a realistic look for the most part. than what you may assume about a certain career or what you may have, seen at like the colleges and different things like that. So definitely look to YouTube for some kind of behind the scenes looks at different types of careers. Kind of along those same lines is to interview and or shadow certain people that have a career that you think you may be interested in. So if you have a neighbor who's a nurse, or your aunt is, a doctor, or your cousin is a teacher, maybe you can get permission to shadow those people at work, or at least to interview them, kind of ask them questions, real questions that you want to know about their job, the best part, the worst part, even if they will tell you, right down to, is it a good amount of money? How long did you have to go to school? How hard were your classes? All of those things that you really want to know about these different careers that you may not find out any other way unless you tried it yourself and then realized you hated it. So asking around friends, family, neighbors, where you can shadow somebody at their job or interview them about their job is really another great way to get kind of a real world look at these different careers on a day-to-day basis. Something to consider and to ask your child is what can you see yourself doing every single day? Can you imagine yourself going to a vet's office every day and being a vet tech? And sure, you get to play with puppies now and again, but could you handle the days when it was sad and someone's pet passed away? Could you handle being the person to treat that animal and take care of that animal after it was dead? You're going to be the one as a vet tech to handle that. Can you handle those days? Can you see yourself going to work every day and getting covered in dog hair and listening to dogs bark all day? All these different things that, shadowing and interviewing and watching those YouTube videos will give you a good glimpse of. Can you picture yourself doing that every single day, pretty much for the rest of your life? Another thing to consider is what major is the most versatile, and it could go into a couple different directions. So back to the vet tech example. I keep giving that example because there for a while my daughter said she wanted to be a vet tech. So we kind of talked about that a lot. But, if you go to school to be a vet tech, you really are very a specific degree. You really can't do much else with that degree. But if you went to school to be in management or hospitality or retail, art, there's a lot of different things you can do with that, but you really can't do a lot with a vet tech degree or other degrees that are very job specific. So you want to cast kind of a big net if you can. They can go in many different directions so that your career is always versatile in case it needs to be. Also, if your child is bad at a certain subject, they may want to steer away from degrees and jobs that require a lot of that subject. So math in particular, I think, is a big one. If your child is bad at math, they may or may not be very good at a job that has a lot of math involved. So something in the sciences, something in the medical field, there may be a lot of math involved that they may not be able to do to be able to get this degree. Obviously, somebody bad at math probably would not want to be an accountant. So that's just something to consider. Also, if what your child wants to make as an income is a huge priority, then that will probably automatically cancel out certain jobs. No one ever got rich being a teacher necessarily. So, if that really is a top priority for them, then they may want to mark a couple things off the list just because they typically don't make that much money, certain jobs. And you can find that out by Googling kind of what the median amount of money is for certain careers. You can look that up and kind of give your child an idea of like, well, the typical person in this field makes this. But if you are really good at this type of job, like graphic design, if you're like a really experienced graphic designer, you could make quite a bit. So using Google to kind of look up what some sample average salaries are for different careers can really help kind of guide your path if income is a huge influencing factor in your child's education decision. Another thing to try to figure out like what your child is good at, what they're interested in, and what they enjoy doing is classes and programs that teach certain skills and certain things that your child is going to be doing in college. So like for us with graphic design, she thinks she wants to be a graphic designer, and there are lots of classes at the library that teach Photoshop and Illustrator and all of these different graphic design software programs. So if she takes those classes and she realizes that she hates it, she may not want to be a graphic designer. Now granted, it may be hard in the beginning because you're learning it, but after a while, after she's gotten it kind of down pat, if she doesn't like it after all, then that's probably not going to be the route that she's going to want to go down. So looking at library programs, which are for the most part, if not always, free. Also Skillshare.com is another one where you can take online classes that you do have to pay for, but you can get an idea of kind of like the material that's taught and the different ins and outs of certain jobs and skills and degrees that may help guide you on your path. And my last tip for how to help your child, or how to decide yourself what you want your major to be in college or your career to be, is to get a job now in that field or volunteer. So if your child wants to be a daycare worker, maybe they should volunteer to daycare or get a job at a daycare if they're allowed or if they're old enough, to really get an idea of what it's going to be like every single day if they do this as a job. Maybe they want to work with animals, so it would probably be a good idea for them to volunteer at an animal shelter or somewhere with animals where they can kind of get a close-up look at what it's really like, the good days, the bad days, the messes that are involved, the hard work that's involved. And if they have the love of that after working that job or volunteering at that job, then that's probably a good indicator they would like to do that as a career. So those are my 10 tips and things to consider and think about when choosing a degree or a career for yourself, or for helping your child to choose a degree or a career. It can be overwhelming because you want them to be happy, but you also want them to make decisions that are going to be good decisions, that are versatile careers that can go different directions, that are in a field that's not going to die. Like, if you're in the computer field, you're fine forever. Things like that. And you also want, you want them to be successful. You don't want them to be, poor and starving. So you want to set them up with these careers that make enough money to support themselves and eventually a family and save money and all that stuff. So these are just some things that we've been doing, thinking about, working through. Whether you homeschool or not, these are definitely things that I think will help you to help your child decide, what they may want to do for a career for the rest of their life. So I really hope it was helpful. If it was, make sure you give it a thumbs up. My homeschooling playlist is linked for you guys in the description box. Every single homeschooling video I've ever made is in that playlist, and there are tons of them. So definitely check that out if you're looking for more homeschool videos from me. And let me know in the comments if you have already helped a child, whether you homeschool or not. If you have already helped your child or children to find a career and put them in college, and even if they've already graduated, let me know in the comments, like, what were some things that you did to help your child make that decision, and did it work? Did it not work? Like, I want your guys' opinion and your help. So definitely leave me any comments and suggestions that you have, and I know that it would help me and other people that may be in the same situation as me, where I've got young kids that are kind of getting to that point where we're planning a career. I know it will be helpful, so definitely leave those in the comments if you have any tips and suggestions, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.